to my new podcast. We'll talk about music you never heard of and some you have. Oh yeah. Hello, welcome to the first episode of Wes Nelson's new podcast. I'm Wes Nelson, and today I had my friend Alex Schorsch on my show to talk about Tropicalia music and some other stuff like Can, the Minutemen, and some other cool bands. So if that sounds interesting, enjoy the show!
I see you got the setup there. I'm just
Dude, yeah.
talking on my shitty earbuds.
No,
How's my audio? Is it okay?
Yeah, it sounds great, man.
Yeah, I can't record anything. I can't record on any other apps while using this.
Oh, no, that's totally fine. I was just like, oh, maybe you could put on a voice memo or some shit. You know?
Yeah, I was trying to do that, and I also have just an audio recorder, but whatever.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. I've never done this, so it might end up kind of fucked up, you know. But yeah.
But anyway, how you been?
Pretty
I
good,
feel like
man.
I haven't seen you since October.
Nope. Since the recording session.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fun, man.
Yeah,
I've just been working on grad school shit, to be honest. Now I'm kind of burnt out with it, so I'm not doing anything remotely like that right now. I'm just trying to kind of do my own thing. I've been writing a lot of music. I want to make a solo project and stuff. So
nice, dude.
Yeah. So hopefully
are you gonna
that comes out.
Are you gonna record all the parts yourself, or?
Yeah, probably.
Nice.
I don't play drums, so it'll probably end up being an industrial project or something.
Yeah,
you
nice.
know.
Exactly.
The only option I can do, but
yeah.
Yeah. What's been up with you?
Oh, I mean, I right after we did that recording, I think 2 weeks after Fitzgerald shut down,
Yeah.
pretty much out of the blue, and then that weekend after Fitzgerald shut down, someone hit and run my car and totaled it.
What?
Yeah.
That's
So,
fucked up.
Yeah, it was really fucked up. So I mean, and I had no income or anything for a little bit, so I was scrambling to cover as much rent as I can. But luckily, now that I'm on the unemployment, and we're getting that extra money.
Yeah.
I was able to, figure that all out, but it was still pretty freaky.
Damn. Were you in the car or was it parked?
No, it was parked.
Fuck.
So yeah, there
Were you
was
in
nothing
Berwyn?
I could do. Yeah. I was I was in Berwyn at the time, but I don't know if this is pertinent to the
No, dude, that's fine. That's
podcast,
kind of how I want it, to be honest.
Yeah. But also with Noah, I was going over there to record some overdubs, but we ran into kind of an issue, and I'm just kind of waiting for him to basically, because our session was all recorded on one recording session on his computer. The second we started adding overdubs to it, it's making the computer crash now. So what he's got to do is separate each take into its own session now, which is just going to be kind of a pain in the ass.
What software is he using?
Pro Tools.
Oh, damn. See, I've been
But
using Reaper a lot, and Reaper's
oh
like
yeah,
really low CPU, so like you could have like 6 session tabs open and it's totally
oh
fine.
for real.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I trust what he's doing. I just knew that it would be a pain in the ass for him to do it, and I just kind of wanted to give him the holiday to, you know,
Yeah.
not worry about
Mhm.
me. So,
Yeah, for
but
real.
yeah, I mean, it'll work out once that's ready. But
Dude, let me know when like it's ready to be released.
yeah,
Like
of
I'll
course,
promote it and everything.
dude. Of course, of course, of course. Um, yeah, I mean, it sounds really dope, actually, from what we were starting to do, because um, it was really we just had one session with Evangeline and recording her flute parts. She
Yeah.
just brought her flute for that night, and we got into this like weird thing of like layering her parts. Like
Uh-huh.
they're like in Please Call Stella. She like does this thing that like has like 3-4 tracks going at once, and she's like harmonizing, and it's just dope.
Yeah.
Flute
Dude,
stick
that's
is
fucking
fun.
awesome.
Yeah.
That was like such an ambitious project for you to take on, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I was doing at all, but I think it worked out fine. I hope that it wasn't stressful for you guys,
No, man,
because
not at all.
yeah,
It could have been a lot more stressful. That's for
yeah,
sure.
definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Wow, man, that's awesome. So you've just been, I mean, trying to do overdubs and stuff. Where are you working right now?
I'm not working.
Oh,
I'm
duh,
just
you're
off
on unemployment. Yeah,
unemployment.
I
Yeah, I'm
forgot.
just
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, I'm waiting for Fitzgerald's to open back up, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
You hear about the bus they're doing?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
That's
I
fucking
mean,
awesome.
yeah, no, it's sick. Will, the owner, he really knows, or he just doesn't stop.
Yeah, for real.
He's always trying to do shit like that. So it's good, it's good to know that my workplace will be around in a
Yeah.
few months.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope everything works out for you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, right now it's just kind of waiting things out.
Mhm.
Just kind of gonna occupy my time,
Yeah.
get back to Noah about doing more overdubs, and I've
Yeah.
been I've been trying to read more, trying to like just get more of that when I have
Mhm.
the time to do it. So
What are you reading?
I'm trying to read all 39 Shakespeare plays right now.
Holy shit. I don't
Cause
have the patience for that.
no, because it was like I was like, damn, I should have probably done this in high school, but I didn't, so I'll do it now.
Yeah. Yeah, man, I
um,
get that. Like I never read the books in high school that they told me to read and now I'm
oh
like,
no,
oh, I wish I had those books.
yeah, and then you're like, maybe you like read one of them later, and you're like, damn,
Yeah.
I wish I paid attention.
Yeah, exactly.
But a lot of them are just shitty anyway. So
Yeah. I mean, could be.
yeah.
I've been doing a lot of reading, but it's like I'm like really ADHD about reading. Like I'm reading probably 4 or 5 books at once right now, but it's like I read a lot of comic books too, and
Oh
it's like
yeah, yeah,
you get into a series and you can't just read one and then put it down, you know.
yeah.
You've got like at least 10 books you have to read, and I made the mistake of starting a couple series is one book I'm reading that is good is you ever heard of the book Meet Me in the Bathroom?
No,
It's
no,
like
I
kind
haven't.
of about the rock revival in New York in the late 90s and early 2000s.
Oh,
So it's
that's
like
pretty
about the
cool.
Strokes and shit and
Interpol.
Interpol, exactly. Interpol,
Nice.
some like dance stuff too, yeah yeah yeahs, stuff like that, But it's all interviews. It's just like
Oh, that's cool.
a bunch of people, it like says their name and shit, and like it'll say a couple sentences, but it's like structured in a way where it really makes sense. So it's
Yeah,
really
that's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah.
Have you ever read or heard of our band Could Be Your Life?
Is that the Minutemen book?
Well, it's like a bunch of different '80s underground bands, and
Mm,
the Minutemen are the second chapter in the book.
okay.
But yeah, it's just like a history of like think Minutemen, like Black Flag, Minor
Yeah.
Threat, Mission to Burma, Butthole
Yeah.
Surfer. It's just good.
That's
It's
fucking
tight.
awesome.
Hmm.
I was in LA recently, just kind of going on a trip. Like I'm kind of thinking of moving out there actually,
Oh,
kind of
nice.
soon. I mean, we'll see what happens, But yeah, I made a point to check out like all the places where bands I like were located,
Hmm.
So like I went and drove by like the church that Black Flag used to rehearse at.
Oh,
You ever
nice.
see that video where they're like, it's who is it? Like Ron Ray's like, yeah, like I sleep in the closet, like
Oh, yeah,
I pay
yeah,
$16 a month and I can't afford it, all that shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't he like a born again evangelical Christian now? Ron Reyes.
I
But I
don't
heard that about him.
know, but that's happened to a lot of my musical heroes, so I
Yeah.
I don't doubt it.
Hey, I mean, I don't begrudge it. It's whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Maybe it was those nights staying in that church.
Oh, true. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
God
that
spoke to
informed.
him.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, for real. Cool, man. Well, I don't know what you want to say about Tropicalia music. Like, I listened to that one album that's like a compilation. They call it
Oh
the
yeah,
quote unquote like manifesto of
yeah, yeah.
the genre. It's funny. It's kind of hard to get a hold of. Like, I had to go on some like Swedish website or something and download
Yeah,
it and put it on my phone.
it's not on Spotify or like streaming.
Yeah. Can you pronounce the name?
Um, can I? It's Tropicalia, uh, Panes et Circenses, which is actually it's that second part isn't actually Portuguese. It's Latin, misspelled Latin, um, meaning bread and circuses. And
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I knew it had those words in it somehow.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think the idea of that record being the manifesto was I think that's just kind of the bread and circuses thing is a reference to just the political climate at the time because it was only that album came out only a few years after um, the establishment of a military junta
Okay.
in Brazil, which overthrew the democratically elected government and established a military dictatorship with the help of the U.S.
Of course.
So I think that that might have been. I'm pretty sure that the bread and circuses thing was a reference to that. Was you know, I know things are like fucked up right now, but here we'll provide this cheap entertainment for you
Mm,
guys. And
yeah.
but it really wasn't cheap. It really had some pretty lyrically and aesthetically revolutionary ideas. So,
Yeah. So is most
uh,
of the music in Portuguese?
yeah, some of it is in English, but yeah, most of it is in Portuguese. Um, because it's a native Brazilian music.
Yeah.
it was influenced by music from the outside, from American and British rock bands
Mm-hmm.
particularly, but it was mainly the idea of that movement was just sort of like just take uh, take culture and cannibalize it and just like remix it and
Mm-hmm.
do all this wacky stuff with it.
What's kind of cool to me is didn't it start? It started pre 66, right?
Yeah, well,
Like
it has it.
63 or so.
Well, like it has its roots in samba and bossa nova
Yeah.
and that. Um, but the actual quote unquote movement itself um pretty much lasted only 2 years, from about like 67 until 69. And then a lot of the
Mm.
artists from that movement sort of went their own directions with stuff.
Yeah.
Um, you know, like particularly Georges Ben Jor sort of went in more of the direction of what uh, became known as MPB. Same with Gal Costa, went in the direction of what became known as Música Popular Brazil. So
Okay.
just like the sort of their new version of post bossa nova pop music, and
Mm.
then
Okay.
uh, acts like Osmo Tanches, you know, delve deeper into the psychedelic rock kind of
Yeah.
stuff, and there were bands that became known as samba rock in
Mm-hmm.
the 70s.
You know, Jack, my friend Jack. Maybe
Jack who?
Jack
Brockman?
Vavrinchik. No,
No,
Jack Brockman's cool though, but
yeah, he is.
I haven't seen him in a very, very long time. Um, the note about Jack Brockman, dude, that guy, like, what he used to just like give people records, like it was so nice. Like he had this one DIY space. I don't know if he was living at it or not, and he handed me. You ever heard of the band Raw Power? It's like an Italian hardcore band.
No.
He just handed me like an LP of them. He's like, dude, you should check this out. And I was like,
He just
wow.
gave it to you?
He just fucking gave it to me. And I was like, wow, man, that's like very nice of you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
but what I
was.
was saying about Jack, my friend, he's been trying to get me into like samba rock and shit. I think he's been sending me all these playlists and I haven't checked it out. So maybe I will now since it's related to this.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think, you know, my journey into delving into Tropicalia music just kind of started with that whole world of Brazilian rock music being so singular to its where it came from, and like you could hear it and instantly pick out its you know many varying influences, but it's just its own thing. It's its own world, and
Yeah.
I just think it's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Um, was how did you discover Tropicalia?
um so it was pretty strange. I was sort of in a funk musically. I was like 19 or 20, and I was going to Southern Illinois University, and
Yeah.
at that point I was like failing, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm just gonna like fail and just stay here, which was a bad
What was
idea.
your
But
major?
I was music performance, double
Oh yeah,
bass.
I forgot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna like fuck around here for a little bit and not try in school, which is a poor decision. But I was like on speed a lot, and like I was just going on these excursions, and I was starting to just like feel like, oh man, all the music I've listened to is just so derivative, man. I can't listen to any like pop music at all or anything that comes close to like normal tonality. So I got into this just rabbit hole of outsider music,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some great stuff in that world, but I was sort of like finding myself anytime I heard something that sounded like consonant music, I was like, no, it's derivative. Oh
Yeah.
my God, I've heard this before. And I mean, it was stupid and pretentious, but I just found myself like in this trap. And there was a friend that I made who she's Brazilian, and I was just like, hey, why is there any stuff that you would like want if you had to like show someone some
Yeah.
Brazilian music, like what would you show them? And she sent me the debut album by Os Mutantes, which
Mm-hmm.
is a legendary Tropicalia band. And I heard it, and it that first album, the self-titled album, uh it's pop music at its core. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it is pop songwriting, it's verse chorus verse kind of stuff, but the the just the complete freedom that they have in every one of those recordings, especially on that first album. It's just, I mean, you do not know what you will hear any given moment on that record.
Yeah.
And so that was appealing to me, but also on top of that, since I didn't speak Portuguese, and I still don't. I wasn't hearing any lyrics that I was like, "Oh, this is like a cliche lyric or something," and I just was sort of like getting super into just focusing purely on the voice alone, as well as what was like just the craziness happening in the backgrounds in all of these songs. So it's
Yeah.
sort
Like
of
texturally, it's really
yeah,
interesting.
yes. So it sort of is what fixed music for me after I
Wow.
like found myself in this funk. Is I was like, I was finding this new appreciation for pop music again. And I feel like since then I've sort of just been on that kick. Like I'm
Yeah.
still pretty much in that mode of like just weird, fucked up pop music.
Yeah. So how long has it been?
Like 7 years now, actually.
Holy
That was
shit.
in 2014. Yeah, it's crazy.
Wow. That's cool, man. How like just one album, like if you hear it at the right time, can change everything.
Oh, totally, totally. Yeah. And of course, it's like then I was able to sort of work my way back into you know like music that I could play in front of other people without them being like, "What the fuck is this?" Like,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
or now I could play this and it'll be like, "What the fuck is this, man? This is great." So it's a
Hmm.
good version of that.
And I can see how that like translates to the music that you're writing right now. Because
Oh
obviously I'm on that album that you
yeah,
just made.
yeah,
Because it has popular music elements, but texturally it's unconventional. Which is very
yeah,
similar to that type of
yeah.
music.
I mean, I definitely. That's why I wanted all these different. That's why I thought it would be a good idea to have all you guys on it, because I was like, you guys can all play like unique instruments in like you guys all you play a double bass, we got flute, we got accordion, it's just like stuff that classic instruments, but not stuff that people like play all the time,
Yeah.
because I like when I picked bass as an instrument when I was younger, I picked bass because I was like, oh, because no one plays bass, everyone plays guitar and drums, so they're gonna need a bass player. And
Yeah.
then I think a lot of people around our age did that. Were like, oh, I'll pick bass because then I'll be the bass player in my friend group. But then everyone is a bass player now.
That's how everybody's been getting into bass since like the 60s, basically.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I mean, for sure. I don't think my music sounds like Tropicalia.
No.
I think that, but I definitely took off from that,
Mm-hmm.
jumping off point.
Have you
Much
seen the
like this.
documentary?
Yeah, there's a really good documentary on YouTube actually.
I
It's
yeah,
just
that's what I started watching it, but I'm like, I'm gonna wait till I talk to Alex, so I'm more interested in what he has to say.
yeah.
To be like, yeah, I know that.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, for anyone listening, I would also suggest watching that documentary because it's very good.
It's just called
And
Tropicalia, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like just about hour and a half long, maybe
Mm-hmm.
hour and 20 minutes. Um, but yeah, so the movement itself was sort of it was a group of musicians with many different backgrounds. Brazil is a multi-ethnic, multicultural country, so uh, these people came together from different socioeconomic and racial backgrounds, and decided like let's try and have a multimedia art movement. So it
Mm-hmm.
wasn't just music; it was also film and visual art and poetry, and just it was an all-encompassing idea of just uh what I was saying,
It's like
the
romanticism or something.
yes,
Yeah.
like that, but also just with this clear line of just not giving a shit and just
Yeah.
satire and irreverence. Like one thing that uh the main proponents of the movement were sort of reclaiming this kitschy version of Brazil as sort of like
A tropical paradise.
yeah, as this like weird sort of Eden.
Yeah.
And because the reality of it was people were being like arrested by secret police and tortured and underground sites and stuff like that, so it was sort of this you know it was this irreverent kind of like flying in the face of that. And um lo and behold, a lot of artists and the musicians of that movement were persecuted by the government, for subversive art.
Wow.
Um, so they sort of positioned themselves against the repressive conservative military government, um, who thought that they were making degenerate blah 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 art. And also the the left wing, Marxist movement in Brazil at the time, which was mostly students in the
Mm-hmm.
universities who thought of Tropicalia as basically as just just taking too much from the imperialist American and British cultures. They thought that, why are you trying to sound like these psychedelic rock bands? Like Brazil has its own culture, and there's like you guys are basically like just kowtowing to the imperialist countries and blah blah blah. So it
Mm-hmm.
actually was sort of attacked on both sides, and you know, I I'm there's this actually interesting thing in the liner notes of the second Os Mutantes album. There's
Do you have
this,
it?
yeah, I do. There's
Nice.
this there's this part of it where they're defending themselves for having used or having allowed one of their songs to be used for a commercial jingle for Shell, because
Oh,
I guess like some of the more radical students were like, you're giving your art to an oil company, and then they're just kind of like, yeah, we want the money. So
yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty unique thing. There was this other story I read about how one of the like main leaders, one of the main songwriters. He wrote a lot of songs for a lot of these acts. Caetano Veloso. Um, he came up to play at a university for a lot of these you know a lot of these left wing Marxist students,
Mm-hmm.
and he came out with the band I was talking about, Os Mutantes, and he had a necklace with bones on it. He was wearing like this green tunic. I saw a picture of it. He looked like uh, it looked like a shot from like Majora's Mask or something.
Yeah.
Like he just looked, pretty out there, pretty wild, and people were like booing him, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But it just, I like the idea of like kind of just trying to piss everyone off like
Yeah.
that.
That's really cool. Have you
Yeah.
ever dove into like the other um forms of Tropicalia, like besides music? Like what is the art like, or the films? Have you seen any of those?
Um, yeah, I mean, I'm familiar with a lot of the art, mainly from album covers. Um, and I mean, a lot of it sort of has, I'm no like art historian, but a lot
Yeah.
of it sort of has that like pop art look to it, like a lot of like collagey kind of stuff, but a lot of, just a lot of, colorful painting. One thing that's really common with those album covers is it'll be like a photo of the artist, but then all around it it's just like colorful painting, and just like a way to just frame this, sort of this thing, the artist you're looking at, kind of like, like Revolver, but if it was super dank and colorful,
Yeah,
just like
like I
pop.
remember the what is that artist? Gal Costa?
Yeah, Gal Costa. Yeah.
I remember the album art for that one album you sent me. And I just remember it being really
Oh yeah,
colorful.
it's weird. There's like a weird, fucked up, like trippy dog on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And but that album, what we're referring to, so Gal Costa was part of this. Gal Costa, um, really was. is a fantastic singer, and nowadays she's sort of like she's sort of considered like just run of the mill pop singer. I mean, she's a legend, but in Brazil, I think I read something on Pitchfork how she's sort of like Barbara Streisand, basically. Like, that's
Weird.
sort of the place that she holds in that culture. But if you listen to that album, I mean, it is like it's like the some of the most insane instrumentals you'll ever hear, and then
Yeah.
just like this beautiful airy like voice on top of it. But she just is, it's absolute freedom. The name of that album is just called Gal, but
Yeah.
it's also known as Cinema Olympia,
Okay.
because the first song is called that. But I mean, that there is nothing like that album. I mean, even that Os Mutantes album that like blew my mind. Like
Mm-hmm.
the second Gal Costa album is just like completely.
That's the second
I mean,
album?
it's yeah. It's on.
That's
I
the one
mean
with the
it.
dog on it, or is that the first
Yeah,
one?
it's almost on the level of like Trout Mask Replica, just in terms of just blowing up the form. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not quite on that level, but
I remember it
it's
being pretty out when I listened
yeah,
to it.
it's way out there. And
Yeah.
um yeah, I mean, I just really think that I just vibe with that. I just vibe with that vibe, just like not giving a fuck, just
Mm-hmm.
going crazy, going ham. I noticed a thing that happens a lot on that Gal Costa album and a lot of her albums and other Tropicalia artists is a lot of them will do this weird vocalization where they'll just go ah, like
I want to
to
see
to
the sound waves of you
yeah.
doing that.
And it's so glorious.
Yeah. Yeah, truly not giving a fuck. That's for sure.
Yeah. Um but yeah, so a lot of those artists were persecuted. A lot of them were put in jail and prison by the military government. Some of them went into exile, uh, mainly in the UK. And then, pretty much after like 2 years, you know, enough of them were either put in prison or doing other things or in exile, so to the point where the movement sort of dissolved and branched out into these other things. And
Yeah, when I was reading about it, it seemed like it ended really abruptly.
yeah, yeah, it was pretty much like just done. And then, sort of there, those artists were still working and just kind of there to pick up the pieces. And like Gal Costa, who made that really fucked up album we were just talking about, sort of pioneered the MPB genre, the musica popular Brazil genre.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that stuff's good too. I mean, it may not be as like sonically experimental, but it's just damn good pop music. And it's also out there in terms of songwriting and stuff too, and performance. So
Mm-hmm.
um but also musician Caetano Veloso, Gilberto Gil rather, Jorge Benjor, a lot of them were informed by their experiences in prison or in exile. Um, like particularly Veloso, when he was staying in London, um, while he was in exile, was listening to a lot of reggae music.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because he was living in London, and then some of his albums from his time in exile, you could really hear that influence in it, and it's dope. It's cool.
What are some specific albums like
Uh,
during that time period from him?
well, this is confusing because I don't know why this is the case, but uh, there's a habit of a lot of these albums all being self-titled. So uh, the one that I was thinking of is just called Gaetano Veloso. Um,
Yeah.
but um, it's from oh yeah, it's from 1971,
Oh, okay. Yeah, so definitely
and
after.
yeah, definitely after they had basically been the movement had basically been dissolved.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but actually, a lot of the lyrics are in English in the album I'm talking about, and because of just living in England and listening to that music in English, and and of course also as was the case with all forms of uh, rock music from around the world at that time. A lot of them were singing in English because that was you know that they
Yeah.
were listening to music being sung in English. So there's that. I mean, it's the same way now, but uh,
Was that when the reggae thing was going on in England, or that's probably 80s, right?
well, no, I mean it was like the ska and
Like the
reggae
Specials.
stuff.
What
Well,
year is that
that's like
first album?
second wave ska. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's like 79,
Oh, okay.
but like in Britain there was like the mod subculture, and they were
Mm-hmm.
really into reggae and ska music and
Yeah.
R&B. So that was definitely in the urban landscape of London at the time.
Yeah.
Was that kind of those kinds of musical styles?
Mm-hmm.
I gave a listen to that debut by the Specials not too long ago.
Yeah. It's got some bangers.
It does. It sure does.
I remember
Um,
this is kind of cringy, but I was like a huge, I mean, still kind of am. I was like a huge Sublime fan. Like
oh
in
yeah,
in
yeah,
especially like when I was 15 or so, I was like, "Oh my god, like Bradley Nowell died.
yeah,
I got to listen
dude.
to all their records, you know." That type of shit. But
I love that. That's very like 15 is like, damn, this artist died young.
yeah, it's like
This
I have to
artist died
listen to them now.
tragically. That means that they're special.
Yeah, exactly. That's literally it. And but they would sample all this stuff, like especially on their first album, like 40 Ounces to Freedom. Everybody who's walked into Hot Topic has that shirt, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But the cool thing about that album is like there are a ridiculous amount of samples. It's almost like Paul's Boutique in a way.
Oh
Because it's
yeah.
like just from all over, or instead of sampling it, they'll just sing the song,
Yeah,
which I
yeah.
think is really cool. And they just fucking like directly lift all these things to a point where it's like there's a very small amount that's actually theirs, you know.
Yeah.
But they do a lot of they did a lot of sampling of that Specials album, or just like singing it, you know. And I would
Mhm.
always like get a kick out of finding albums where, oh, I thought that was a Sublime song, and it's actually like fucking like Easy E or something, or the Specials or the Beastie Boys, you know. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I got into them.
Yeah, totally.
Is there a
Um
favorite album of yours in the Tropicalia movement? Is it that Gal Costa album?
I mean, I think I if I had to pick 5, it would definitely be that Gal Costa album.
Yeah.
Um it would definitely have uh, the Os Mutantes debut album,
Mm-hmm.
and also the second Os Mutantes album, which is called Mutantes.
Nice.
Also, I think this one isn't as like crazy out there, but I think it's just like a entirely solid record called Força Bruta,
Okay.
Brute Force by Jorge Benjor.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is just this fantastic document. And it's of its own. And what would be another good pick? The debut album by Gilberto Gil,
Mm-hmm.
his self-titled album. If I had to pick like 5, like these are the ones you need to listen to, that would be it.
Yeah. Nice. That's kind of what I was hoping for, like a list of shit people
I
can
mean, those
check
were
out,
in no particular order, but
So the
those I think.
compilation's not even on there.
Oh well, I had to include that too. I guess 6, the compilation for sure. I don't know
Yeah,
why I
the
forgot
comp
about.
is
I was
cool.
just thinking like studio albums, but yeah.
Yeah. The comp is cool. I think I've listened to the comp and then Awesome Mutantes is
Yeah,
yeah,
Os
I've listened to that
Mutantes.
one and then the Gal Costa one and I think like some of the the studio efforts they can get a little, especially the Gal Costa album, like they can get really out there, which I
Hmm.
think the the comp acts a little more as a sampler.
Yes,
It
the
doesn't
compilation
go
is definitely
as
like
out.
you're dipping your toes in.
Yeah.
Like you want to. If you like this, then you really, then maybe you'll be able to vibe with this other stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, I actually want to uh, walk into the ocean for getting to include the compilation in that list because it's definitely it's essential
Yeah.
if you need to get into if you want to get into the genre. So
Yeah. But I will
if
say,
I
like,
would
to
say
people,
listen to that compilation first, and then if you like that, get into the other albums I
but
named.
if you don't like it, still get into it. I feel like, because,
Yes. If you don't like it, bear with it. You just have bad taste in music, and you need to fix it by listening to the
yeah.
other albums until you like it.
Yeah. The prescription.
Yes, Doctor Schorsch's prescription. Gotta.
That should
Sorry
be
you
your,
don't
like,
like it.
psychedelic music blog website name.
Yeah, yes, definitely.
With, like, torrents from fucking, like, Zippy Share that just wrecks your computer.
Yeah, definitely. Um, yeah, and like Flash animations,
Yeah, for real.
and you can't even watch it anymore because they got rid of Flash.
I also, I mean, this is my first podcast episode, so just kind
Oh
of,
damn! Oh
yeah.
shit!
I no, I have 0 listeners right now. I
Yeah.
mean, I know people who would listen to it, but you know, don't worry, because who knows who's gonna listen to it.
Well, I aren't you glad that you had me, someone that is not an expert in what I'm talking about and like barely did
Dude,
any
you know a
research.
lot. You actually
Yeah,
know a lot. It's pretty cool.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
Well, and I know
It's
you can
easy
like
to.
bullshit about genres a lot. Like you're kind of the guest that I would want, the ideal guest, because you
Yeah.
can
Oh,
bullshit
thank you.
about a lot of, you're
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I have a cursory knowledge of a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
I've delved into enough things. I find myself cycling back to certain stuff. I mean, punk rock changed my life.
Yeah,
That's for
there you go.
sure.
I've been cycling back to that very recently. Like I've been
Just
pulling out the old zines and shit,
okay.
reading them on the toilet, like pulling out the punk rock records.
Hell yeah, brother.
I
I love it.
You ever listen to Royal Headache?
No, I haven't.
Dude, you should check them out. I'll send you a link or something.
Yeah.
They're not like an old band. They started probably in 2012. They're from Australia.
Okay.
And basically they're a punk band basically, but they have like a lot of poppy elements, but um it's kind of lo-fi sounding, and they were all like ex-hardcore band type people,
Oh yeah, I
Um
see it. They're on What's Your Rupture?
is
Yeah, I
that is
see
that the
that.
label?
Yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah,
they
so
put
there's
out
two
Ice
records.
Age, Parquet Courts.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, listen to them. They have two records and they're both awesome, and like I've been listening to them literally like every day, and it's like gotten me back into just that whole sphere of music that I've
Yeah.
abandoned for years because I went to
Yeah.
jazz school, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's like, man, it's like sometimes you just gotta fucking bang it out. Just fucking riff and just pound those drums. Just get your fucking blood pumping like that.
Did you ever do you ever read the No Friends zine? It was like out of Chicago, started probably in like 2015 or so.
Oh yeah, I feel like I never was like into zines that much, but I feel like I saw that.
Yeah, it was
Do you know
around a lot.
who put it out?
Yeah.
Can you
A
name
dude
drop the
named
person?
Ray Ramirez, I think his name is.
Oh, it doesn't ring a bell.
He jumps around a lot. Like he lived in Chicago, but he was also in San Francisco for a while. I think he was a writer or editor for Maximum Rock and Roll too.
Oh, oh,
Um, but yeah, man, there's a really good Royal Headache interview in the second issue, I think, that got me into them.
oh,
I could like
nice.
let you borrow it or something at some point,
Yeah.
But the interview's really funny. It's like they get interviewed at the Empty Bottle, and the singer's fucked up, and they come to him after the show like, "Hey, can we interview you?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." And like half of the answers to their questions is just like, "Everybody hates me," or "I'm drunk," basically. Yeah, typical
Nice. Just good
interview.
old antisocial punk rock. I love it.
Yeah, living the part.
Yeah.
What's
Sometimes you gotta.
what is I have some like questions written down here.
Yeah.
Well, what I was saying before is like kind of at in the podcast at some point I'd like to ask like what is a band or album that changed your life, and then also like what is a band, album, or genre you hate or think is overrated?
Let me think about that second question while I answer the first. There've been a number of bands and albums that have changed my life. Obviously, this
It
is like
doesn't
a
have to be
lame.
the one, because
Yeah,
that's a
the
lot of pressure.
yeah. I'll name a few, or I'll name a handful, maybe. I mean, the Beatles were the first when I was a kid. I got into the Beatles, and that was sort of what got me into music. I know that's kind of it's a little gauche to say now because I know that it's kind of like, oh, the Beatles, like
Yeah,
normie, but no, I'm not ashamed to say. Um, Also, um, those Tropicalia albums I named, um, uh, Minutemen Double Nickels on the Dime,
for sure.
um, really blew my mind. Um,
It's kind of like you're allowed to do that, when you listen to that album.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You're like, oh shit, okay, I don't have to write 3 minutes worth of a song. I could just be like, okay, I'm done. Next one, let's move on. But
Yeah.
like all of them, they jam. They really just kind of like get the essence down and sort of jam on it for a second, and they're like, okay, moving on.
Yeah. There's
And
like what, 30 or 40 songs on that album or
yeah,
something.
yeah, and it's just
Crazy.
like it's really it's a triumph. Um, hmm. I know that if I like name more, I'm gonna be mad later for things I forgot. So this is not by any means an exhaustive list.
Yeah.
Um, hmm.
I should probably ask people that ahead of time, you know.
Yeah, that's a
That's
good
my
point.
nightmare question.
Yeah, yeah. Come on. I mean, fucking. Oh, Joni Mitchell's live record with Jaco Pastorius, Pat
Mm-hmm.
Metheny, Max Roach, a number of a number of legends called Shadows and Light. That concert is godly.
I
Um,
know about the Jocko stuff, but I've never really dove too much into it with Joni Mitchell.
oh, I mean, yeah, you should,
I've
because
heard that what is that album? Mingus or something?
yeah, Mingus is kind of weird. I mean, I think at that point she was just kind of like not as much on her like creative streak. But her so like she had her folk years, and she
Mm-hmm.
came out with Blue, which is I also would put that on my list. Um, it's another normie pick too, because it's like everyone knows it's like a really legendary album. But
Yeah, you're being outed.
yeah, yeah, I'm a normie.
Yeah.
I'm outing myself. Um, she then after that she was sort of getting into this sort of like jazzy fusiony kind of thing, and around the mid 70s is when she put out an album called Hizira, which Jaco Pastorius is on, and you know uh, on that album, she's exploring these like very spacious kind of songs, these interesting like cluster chords and stuff, and Jaco is doing his thing, but like layers of it. Like there are like 5 tracks of bass on some of those songs, and it's just him doing his like his like weird false harmonics, and he's like
Mm-hmm.
harmonizing the harmonic tracks. And I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
it's Jocko.
The Jocko thing.
He was one of the best to ever do it. Um. Oh, I mean, maybe in terms of jazz, I love Supreme,
Yeah, for sure.
again, normie, but I
Yeah.
think the first time I heard that, I was like, oh shit, jazz is actually really dope. And anytime I come back to it, it's like uh, I get something new out of that record every time. It's
Yeah.
really a
You ever
deep
listen
well.
to Transition?
Oh yeah,
Dude. Ugh. That's probably my favorite Coltrane record, at least right now.
yeah,
That's just like a
um,
religious experience on 11, you know?
yeah. I mean, don't they fucking aren't there? Isn't there like a Church of Coltrane?
Probably.
I'm
If there's
pretty
a
sure
Church of
that
Iron
they're.
Maiden, there's a Church of Coltrane.
Oh, um. Oh man, I'm just gonna just out myself more and more as a normie. But I swear to God that there are other. Oh, here's something that isn't normie. I don't even know how I found out about this record. I stumbled upon this years ago. But this musician, she died just over a year ago, named Norma Tanega, and she was sort of lost to time. She had one hit. She was a one hit wonder in like '66 with a song called "Walkin' My Cat Named Dog," which is just this kind of goofy, almost like a novelty pop song. But it's a fun little ditty. But the album that it's off of is it's it's singer songwriter stuff. It's folky singer songwriter stuff. But the the writing is just it's so interesting. I mean, I guess you just have to listen to it. But the way that she the just time signatures she'll go off on, and these in these ostensibly like normal folk rock songs, it's just very very unique. And when I heard it, I was like, oh damn, like this is sick. It's really gets me good. So that's Walking My Cat Named Dog.
That's easy to remember.
I'm gonna keep going. I need to stop now, because if I keep going,
for sure.
I'll inevitably feel bad for missing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Or okay, let's maybe one more thing. Amy Winehouse, Back to Black, another normie pick.
Interesting.
I love it. Love her. I love Amy Winehouse. I loved Amy Winehouse when she was making music, and I've loved her music forever. I will always listen to it. It's great. Yeah. And I actually do. I was actually pretty sad when she died. I was like 16, but I mean, it's a shame how that happened. It's really sad, but
yeah. I've never gotten into her.
Really?
She's never. I mean, I've heard what is that? Rehab or?
Yeah, I mean that song's definitely overplayed, and I think that was like the one song you ever heard by her.
Yeah.
Back when she was like alive, but that album front and her first album Frank, front to back, are just really, really solid.
I'll have to give it another listen. I've kind of like written her off, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, sometimes you gotta give things another chance.
I did that with the Strokes. I was like, well, I was like in high school, and there was this weird like era. When Mac DeMarco came out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. You have
I remember
resentment
those
in your
days.
voice. Yeah. Basically, all the jocks got into that. It was like the whole fucking football team were, dressing like Pavement and shit. And like,
where before, literally like years before, all they listened to was like LMFAO.
Exactly. Yeah. It was just overnight. It was so strange. And then
they were like crunkcore before that. And then
yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like Lil Jon or whatever. And they're just into all this stuff. And I was like I like metal and punk and stuff, at that age. But they wouldn't shut up about the Strokes. Like, you'd hear like, these popular girls in class just like, do you like the Strokes? Like, yeah. Do you like the Beatles? Yeah. And I'm like, shut up, Yeah. So I always had this like resentment of like the Strokes. And I read this like one Amazon. I used to read Amazon reviews of albums. That was like how I would kind of, dip my toes in before listening. And someone said they were a Christian band, which is obviously not true. But I'm like, they're a Christian band.
The Strokes were a Christian band?
Yeah, it was just a
What?
bad review. You could write whatever you want on Amazon. But I'm like, oh, they're a Christian band and all these popular people like. I'm like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
But then I dove back into it years later and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty good,
Yeah, no, it's good stuff.
So what's a band that you hate?
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't I'm not into, I mean, when you were talking about this was making me here's a band I hate, but when you were talking about high school with like the jocks being into Mac DeMarco, I'm only a few years older than you.
Yeah.
And like I said, it totally was not like that. I mean, like the jock dudes would have been into like, at least in Oak Park, it would have been like, they would have been listening to just kind of like the pop rap of the time, like probably like Lupe Fiasco and shit like that. But I wonder if part of it would also be because of the Elmhurst thing. I wonder if like Elmhurst had which was making me think, didn't the Orwells go to your high school?
Yes.
They did. I fucking hate the Orwells.
Yeah.
I mean, that has maybe something. That's another
totally normie
about that. Opinion to have, but
yeah,
I remember
for sure
when they were a thing, and then it was
This was around the same time that they played Letterman.
Yeah,
the Mac DeMarco thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I would kind of. I'm not gonna say I hate it, but just sort of the boring sort of like the subgenre of like just boring, just drenched in reverb,
like shoegaze.
No, shoegaze is cool. I mean, like that kind of pitchfork kind of real estate. Just everything is very wet sounding.
All the bands you saw at Pitchfork but don't remember, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Dive, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, really. I think I've seen both of those bands, to be honest. Don't even remember.
I think, I mean, this is, again, revealing myself, but I remember when I went to Pitchfork many years ago. Oh, sorry, how could I not include this? One of my other favorite, if I had to pick another favorite record, it would be Triple X by Danny Brown. That's actually one that really changed my life.
I don't think I've ever heard that.
Just it's a double hip hop album. I mean, do you know Danny Brown?
I don't think I do.
He's a master. He's a master
guy?
of the form. Yeah, he's I think he's probably my favorite rapper. Like because of my personal like growth, listening to him. But yeah, the year that I saw him at Pitchfork for the first time, was also I saw Dive, and they did this. My friend was like, really like obsessed with them, and she was like really into them, and I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And they like started off with this like 30-minute long, just like plotting jam of Like a Rolling Stone.
What?
And it just wasn't like, I mean, and I love Bob Dylan. But it was like he wasn't even singing it. I mean, it's just it's a weird song to cover, number one.
Yeah.
Like, I just feel like that's a weird song because it's I don't think I've ever heard it covered. I'm not familiar with any other covers of it.
I think Hendrix
he was
maybe
just
did it.
But lyrics. Like he
Yeah.
was like he wasn't even singing. He's like about having to be scrounging for your next meal. I mean, maybe he was trying to do a lazier Bob Dylan thing, but it was just awkward.
You don't open
And
with
they had
that.
that stupid kind of hat, kind of that jockey Mac DeMarco.
Oh, I know what hat you're talking about. The hat,
Like my friend Cal, he dresses like that.
like a Life is Good hat or something.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like dressed like a 35-year-old dad
Yeah.
that like is trying to take his like 4-year-old kid to the skate park.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's how all the
Like
jocks
that
dressed
kind
at
of
my high
dad.
school for like 2 years.
Oh god.
Terrible.
Um oh, another thing I probably uh I'll add these three albums up. The three the my I think this is like the best. This is a good trilogy. Is all by Can, the German krautrock band
Yeah,
Can.
we know Can.
The albums Tago Mago, Ega Bamyasi, and Future Days are like it's. I think of it as like it's like the Divine Comedy. It's like uh Tago Mago is hell, is inferno. Um
I've only heard that one.
Ega Bamyasi is purgatory, Purgatorio, and Future Days is heaven. It's definitely I
Are
don't
they
know,
all
a
pretty
good
different?
time. Yeah, it's working on a lot. I think they're sort of working on the same thread, but
Mm-hmm.
the mood is completely different. I mean, Tago Mago, the first one is there's some parts of it where it could be played at like a haunted house or something.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
all of them is like that whole genre was just very you know, very heavy on the exploration and like, just like textures and very spacious soundscapes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They have a pretty interesting background, right?
can
Yeah, I want.
yeah,
Are
yeah.
they
I mean,
Korean or one person's Korean
well,
or?
yeah. That so they went through a number of singers, but the singer on those three albums is a guy named Damo Suzuki, he's from Japan. And he actually was, I think, I don't know if it was he was like an itinerant guy, like he lived uh like a traveling musician's lifestyle and ended up all the way out in Germany right
Mm-hmm.
when Can was looking for a new singer. So then he just kind of, though I'm pretty sure that he didn't really speak German and, spoke English from just like listening to pop music. He mostly improvised all
That
of the
makes sense.
lyrics on those albums. I
Yeah,
mean, there's parts of it that it's completely nonsensical. It's just like the sound of the words,
yeah.
and that's dope. I like that. Um, what's some? Let me think of
I love that
another.
song "Mushroom Head." It's probably one of
Oh
the most
yeah,
accessible songs on Tegumego or Tagomago or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. That's like that's definitely. I mean, there's like I would say like the first disc of Tego Mago is sort of like easing you into that weird hell that
Yeah,
it takes you in by the end. Because by
yeah,
the end of it, it's just like holy fuck.
yeah.
Um. Oh, I have to include I'm such a normie. Love Deluxe by Sade. That's one of the
I
just
know who that
best.
is. I've never really dove into that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, because I don't know because I know with the jazz heads, like some people will be like, oh, well, this is like trying to sound like jazz, but it isn't real jazz, so it's not, you shouldn't listen to it. I'm not saying you're like that, but I know some people are like that.
With
So,
Sade?
well, no, not
Like Sade is an SADE. Is
yeah,
that who you're
yeah,
talking about? Yeah.
yeah. I
That's
said,
kind of like R&B ish, right?
yeah, not with her really, but like with like shit like blood, sweat, and tears, that kind of like those like
Yeah.
kind of 70s. Like I
Mm-hmm.
remember when I was like 16 or something, I was talking because my dad's a jazz musician. I was talking to one of his friends, and I was like, "Is Chicago a jazz band?" And they were like, "No, no, shut up."
You're grounded.
Yeah,
No food for you.
I don't know, something like yeah, some one of them got mad at me for bringing up Frank Zappa as a jazz musician,
Yeah.
but
I think that's, I mean, maybe it's just in like my circles. That's like changed, I think, recently.
yeah, well, yeah, exactly, because also I feel like most jazz heads like your age, I think, are like kind of more into like the jazz hop kind of stuff, like bad,
Yes.
not good. I feel like that's like the main strain
Yes.
with
Like Kamasi Washington.
yes, yeah, like
That
that
shit.
kind of
Yeah. I like it.
yeah.
It's good. It's good music. It's innovative. Like I don't know if you know Robert Glasper at all. He
No, I'm
is
not
great.
familiar.
I think he is like maybe the master of that. That like hip hop and jazz fusion that's going on right now. Like
Robert
he plays with
Glasper.
this. Yeah, he's fucking amazing. He plays with this drummer named Chris Dave, and I mean, I think it's like Chris Dave is one of the most, I guess, influential for that jazz hop type thing. I hate using that term, but that's what it is. Like he just plays drums like Jay Dilla programs beats or whatever, just to a
Oh yeah.
T. Like that's like
Oh
his
okay.
thing. And now it's like I like cringe when I said that because now it's such a cliche and everybody fucking
Yeah,
does it.
that's true. That's absolute. That's like like I said. That seems like that's the main kind of
Yeah.
focus with you jazz guys. Oh,
Yeah.
another. Sorry, I'll probably just be continuing to pepper in albums that
Yeah, no,
I
that's
love.
that's the idea.
The album Enmar by Tinari Wen.
I don't know
Um,
that one.
Tinari Wen is a Malian band or Malian band. I don't know how you say it. They're from Mali originally, and they are of the Tuareg um, nomadic. They're from like a nomadic ethnic group that speaks a language other than Arabic, um, and they're older. I mean, I saw them like 2 years ago, but they started in the '70s, and they, I mean, they're like dudes literally like from the Sahara Desert, and they just like were into like I guess Santana and like all these like just kind of '60s and '70s psychedelic and jam bands, but it is very elemental. I mean, when you hear it, you definitely are like, okay, this is African blues. But it is very much like I kind of feel this way whenever like even with Tropicalia, with the styles of music from around the world that were influenced by American and British uh, rock and pop styles. You hear those music, you hear it, and you're like, okay, this is the like Turkish take on rock or psychedelic music, or this
Mm-hmm.
is the Brazilian take on it. But if you listen to Tanari Wen or any number of um, like Afro psychedelic music, Afro funk, Afro rock from the 70s, you you hear it and it's like, oh, this is just the other divergent point from the blues. Like you're not thinking of like, oh, this is them doing their own spin on rock. No,
Yeah.
it's like this is the other direction that rock went, basically from its um common origin that
Mm-hmm.
uh the blues went in here
Yeah.
in the West. So but yeah, Tanari Wen, it's like a lot of it is just like it's just this very rhythmic, just elemental blues, but it is just it's it's like trance music. And
Mm-hmm.
I saw them at Thalia Hall like 2 or 3 years ago, and for for music that is so like harmonically, sort of sticks to its guns, like, and rhythmically too, like they they were in control of a room, like probably better than I've ever witnessed before, for like 3 hours. And
Yeah.
every one of their songs they extended into like 20-minute jams, and like usually I get annoyed with that shit, but it was just like it just they put you in another.
It depends on the venue too, I think.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
you're
because
right.
that's a venue that I feel like it's very bearable to watch 20-minute jams in Thalia Hall. You know.
Yeah, that's true. I love that place.
Yeah, I saw Godspeed You Black Emperor there.
Oh, nice.
Probably in
That's a
like,
good band to see there.
dude, holy shit, it was awesome.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was like, and their tickets are really cheap. I got my ticket for like $15 or some shit. And they didn't say anything, because they're really mysterious. You don't even know what anybody looks like. They basically, it's like, I forget the instrumentation. There's a lot of guitar players, like people doing whatever the fuck.
Mhm.
They didn't say anything into the mic. Not one
Oh
thing.
yeah.
They didn't even turn the lights on. The lights were down the whole time, so you could kind of see them, but a little bit. It was almost like an orchestra, like playing a movie score. It was super cool, and there was a big ass like projector behind them, like playing these graphics of like wildfires and shit, and
Oh, nice.
like, man, it was so just. It was there was never a point where I'm like, I want this to end. It was just like
Yeah.
completely hypnotized
No,
by it.
yeah, you could totally. I've been there where you could totally just let something just carry you
Yeah,
forever, and
for
then when it ends, you're like, damn.
yeah.
Hmm. What's some other? Man, it's like I wish you did ask me. I'm not mad, but I wish I could like compile this.
Yeah.
Hmm.
People would do on Facebook those like top 10 album things.
Oh
I could
yeah, I
never
did
do them.
that. I should just cheat and look at what I did. Um. Oh, John Prine's self-titled debut. John
I don't think I've
Prine.
heard that either. I've heard the name.
Yeah, I mean, he unfortunately he passed away from COVID last
Oh
year.
shit.
I think back in May, maybe even April
Wow.
or earlier. Like it was early on. But he grew up in Maywood, where I
Oh.
was born in Maywood. He grew up in Maywood and was part of the like uh, folk revival scene in Chicago. But he really, he was really like a country musician,
Mhm.
and I remember being surprised when I found out that he wasn't like a super famous country musician because my parents played him all the time. So I
Yeah.
was like, oh, this guy is like a really famous guy. But then he came out with an album, his last album, Tree of Forgiveness, a few years ago,
Mm-hmm.
and like it was his highest charting album to date, and that I was just surprised because I was like, oh, I thought that he was like already a legend, but he
Yeah.
pearled it with that last album too. That's a great album. But his first album is like top to bottom, just like, yeah. I mean, I contend that country music is actually good. I do not count Nashville radio pop as country
Yeah.
music, but I mean, like, that kind of album is like what makes me feel like bad for people who are like, I like everything except for country,
Yeah,
you know,
for sure.
because good country's got some good things about it.
I can never like there's some country music I like, ooh, I like old country, like that's a
Yeah,
normie opinion. Like I
yeah,
like
that
Johnny
is a normie
Cash,
opinion.
but
Johnny Cash is good.
I do
I
like
mean,
Johnny Cash though.
Hank Williams, Johnny Cash, a lot. I mean, Patsy Cline, those like older, those like legends. They're all great.
Yeah, I
But yeah,
like when it borders more on folk. I think
yeah.
because
Oh,
the lyrical
and
content, like I even if it's good country, sometimes I have trouble relating to it.
yeah.
Especially like I think Waylon Jennings is good. However,
Oh, yeah.
I'm never gonna be remotely close like to living like Waylon Jennings.
Yeah,
So
no,
there's
no,
a
yeah.
separation.
Yeah, you're not there's no part of you that is worried about like being a cowboy. Your mom's not worried about you becoming a cowboy or anything like that.
Yeah.
No, no, I totally get that. But yeah, no, so that John Prine debut album is definitely like the I mean, I think of the like I think of country as kind of like on a continuum with American folk music.
Mm-hmm.
It depends on the kind of thing it is, but yeah, I think that some musicians kind of like cross between those, sort of like are somewhere on that continuum. And I mean, back in the day, like those styles were grouped together. Like I think it was in the 50s is when radio stations and record companies actually started to make a distinction between what was known as hillbilly music, or what's now known as country music, and like folk music. And it was mainly like just geographical. Like,
Yeah.
so Woody Guthrie, who, if you listen to Woody Guthrie, it's country music. I mean, it's folk music, but it's also like you hear it's definitely it's country.
Yeah.
You could hear that in it.
That guy was super radical supposedly.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, it was he was from the South too, but he was based in New York, and basically for that geographical reason, he's considered a folk musician
Yeah.
exclusively.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of think that's all on a continuum. I kind of think that American music is on a continuum like that. I mean, with because all of it at the end of the day comes from the same sources.
Yeah.
Comes from the blues, and
Yeah,
then
for
comes
sure.
from other styles like Irish ballads and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Well, what
Speaking about
distinguishes it,
American music, Violent Femmes, they're
dude?
self-titled, their
I have a
debut.
lot to say about that album. I love that album
Yes,
so much.
it's beautiful.
I mean, I don't want to say nobody knows about it because that's not true.
Yeah,
But um I think people do see them as like a one or two hit wonder.
Yeah,
You know, nobody dives into that album and it's so good.
yeah, that album is really just like top to bottom bangers.
And it doesn't make sense. Like, what is that, 1985 or 3? I
It's
want to say.
83 and it sounds like it's from like 99. Or it
Yeah,
sounds
yeah,
like it's like aughts, like post-punk revival, like acoustic kind of shit. It's so good.
yeah. It's so fucking weird. And, like, also the bass playing in it is really awesome, too.
Oh yeah, that dude just rips on that. Like I forget what he's playing, but I've seen that kind of acoustic bass that's
Yeah,
played on that album, and it's like huge. It looks like it's a piano.
that's like the only time one of those has ever sounded good. I think is
Yeah,
on the Violent Femmes album.
those are a weird. Yeah, I bet because you're double bass, you got to think that those guys are like total posers, right?
I mean, I've never met someone who identifies themselves with acoustic bass
Oh
guitar,
yeah,
but
that's a good point.
that would be pretty crazy. Well, for in high school, did you ever did they have like Amnesty International at your high school,
Like
the
as
club?
a, I don't recall. I didn't like do extracurriculars though.
I didn't
Very
do it, but they
well.
put on concerts. Like it was like for charity or something. So they basically they put on a concert like twice a semester.
Oh, okay.
And anybody could play. And me and a couple friends, we did half the Violent Femmes album.
Oh, nice.
We did like side one or some shit, and like, yeah, my friend played like acoustic bass or something and sang, and I think I played guitar, and
He
my friend played
sang
drums.
while playing those bass parts.
Yeah, it was pretty
Damn,
awesome.
dude,
Yeah, and
that
my friend
is
had a snare, like he just used this snare. It was really
nice.
awesome,
Didn't you do like a Ween cover set?
dude. Well, that you know how I was telling you about Brainstorm,
Oh
like
yeah, yeah.
so that is the same band. We've been
Oh
together for
really?
that long. Yeah, so what, 6 years or so? Yeah, we started as a Ween cover band.
What were you guys called?
Well, we are called Brainstorm, but we went through a couple different names that
Yeah,
were
I just I
contrived.
remember it was like Boognish Boys or
Oh, yeah,
something.
there you go.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah, it was
Contrived
that.
from
Yeah,
Ween.
okay.
That's I can't believe you remember that. That's crazy. Yeah, well, it was like my friend Jack, who I told you about. He wanted to do a Ween medley for the talent show. And I
Oh,
was
okay.
like, no fucking way. Like, you know, like it was senior year. And I'm like, that, I don't know, like that's the lamest thing I could do, you know? Um, but he just because he went through a Ween phase and he eventually like convinced me to do it. He's like, come on, dude, it's going to be awesome. And I'm like, okay, we'll do it. And then we got two other people to be in on it. And it turned into this like very elaborate thing. And we like had parts where we'd fall on the floor and parts where we'd leave the stage and like all this crazy shit, you know? And our talent show was cool because it was like all week long because our school was really big. So you'd be playing this shit all week. So we did this like 6 times. And, but yeah, it was really cool. People actually, I mean, it polarized people. The weird kids liked it a lot. But, yeah, we decided to to stay as a band. And yeah, we're still a band. We're obviously not a Ween cover band anymore. But,
Yeah.
dude, I'm actually really excited about this album we just
Yeah,
recorded.
dude, I'm excited to hear it, man.
I will send it to you when it's ready because I just finished it and I sent it off to be mixed and everything. We recorded it in my garage probably in August. And it sounds really good for being recorded in a garage and like we have and this is COVID bad, but we had all like because I have a lot of roommates and like them and their
Yeah.
girlfriends like were all over basically, and they'd walk in on the session, so they're
Oh
all
wow.
on it. Like
Oh
all
wow.
these vocal tracks, a lot of it's improvised. It's fucking hilarious.
I want
So
to
like
hear this, man.
yeah, so I've and like that's kind of what I've been doing honestly is like just because the sessions are a mess. Like all the mics are clipping basically because people are just grabbing it and like saying stuff into it and stuff. So I had to like automize the whole record and record bass because we don't have a bass player. So I had
Oh,
to like
okay.
record bass in post and
Wait, what
like
were
do
you
some
playing? Guitar?
yeah. So two
Oh, okay.
guitars. We all sing and there's a drummer.
Oh, got it. Got it. Got it.
Yeah. So I've had to do a lot of that. But yeah, it's gonna be awesome and I'll send it to you when it's all done.
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, and obviously I'll send you uh, you know, the album when it's done, when I'm done with
Yeah.
that.
I'm excited to hear
Um,
it.
I mean, if you're interested, we could probably, if you want to get freaky with maybe some overdubs. I mean, I don't know what you would do with
Yeah,
overdubbing
man.
bass, but I bet there you could do some
I'm
interesting
down.
stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
what we kind of did is like we recorded the like main track, but I feel like it would be dope if we just layered a bunch of stuff on top of it because we
Yeah.
still have like we're you have you listened to the like
Mm-hmm.
the rough
Yeah, I listen
mixes?
to all of them.
I mean, they sound great. I mean,
Yeah.
especially for like 10 songs in 3.5 hours. Like it sounds
Mm-hmm.
really, for us to have recorded it in that like small amount of time, it sounds really good.
They recorded for
Um,
free, right?
yeah,
Wow.
and for what for it has the what I wanted. It has the just the live energy that we were
Mm-hmm.
going for, but we'll be able to have that and just like throw in all kinds of shit on top of it,
Yeah.
make it dense.
Yeah,
I've
man.
been like thinking about like I don't know how to quite articulate this, but like minimal maximalism, like working with sort of just like minimalist kind of instrumentation, maybe just kind of working with like basic like acoustic sounds, but like
Mm-hmm.
making that like dense and layered. And
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully, I mean, it'll get done. I just,
Are you gonna
hopefully,
mix it?
um, yeah, I mean, with Noah, because he knows what he's doing.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know shit. I mean, I know a little bit, but like the final stages, I don't know how to make everything the same volume.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Too hard for me. Well, this
But
was
yeah,
cool,
dude.
man. Thanks
Yeah, I feel like
for
this
coming
went
on.
really well. I was
Yeah,
I
dude.
was worried about like not being prepared or
No, no, no,
not
no, no, no.
like sleeping. Like I was thinking that, oh man, I'm gonna be like lethargic, but
I honestly like I listen to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of them. I mean, the ones I like the most are just bullshitting for
yeah, you ever
1 to
listen to
3 hours.
Cumtown?
Dude, I just listened to him yesterday. Yeah, my
Yeah, I
roommate
mean
is
it's good that we're
obsessed with
not.
Cumtown.
Oh, really? Which
Yeah,
one?
he like at all times, like I know he comes home because he'll just have it blasting from his phone. Like I could hear Stavi fucking like with his laugh, you know?
The like that dolphin fucking
Yeah.
the dolphin laugh. Yeah, dude. It's terrible. I mean, it's just a low quality program. I don't even know why I just can't imagine like paying on their Patreon for that shit.
Yeah.
I've because everyone uploads their premium episodes online anyway.
Hmm.
So it's like why would you ever pay to like
Yeah.
they don't there was like a whole period where Nick Mullen was just like playing Red Dead Redemption like throughout the whole episode for like 2 months.
Wow.
And he wouldn't even like pay attention. And it's like, they make $1 million a year.
He's also kind of a genius though, because his idea, I mean, it's like kind of like improv comedy, you know, like that type of stuff. He's just like so able to just yes and everything and just go with it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
My roommate has the Stavi calendar.
Oh, for real? Oh,
yeah.
Shit, that's dope. Wait, this which one? TJ or Cole?
It's Cole. Cole has it.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It's so funny. It's like
nice, dude.
January or the October one is just fuck October or something. Or sex October. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Very, very, very low quality. A lot of, is there like any part where it's just like gay man?
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I miss the homies. It'll be nice when, you know, people can like hang out again, because I want to hang out with you.
Yeah.
Hang out with your roommates, get to know them more. And
for real.
You should come here sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
What are you doing today?
I was gonna jam with some people at like 6:30.
Oh, okay.
Do some socially distant jamming, but
me and my friend were gonna go to Chinatown at like 2.
Nice.
But we should get together soon, like wear masks or some shit.
Yeah,
like,
we should.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like it's gonna be a little bit warmer. So.
Yeah. Well.
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah.
But yeah, come out to Ukrainian Village sometime.
Yeah, for real. Cool, man. Well, thanks for being on. This is dope. I'll probably like want you on again, because like that's the guest I want, is like someone I could just kind of bullshit with for however long about general music
I can
stuff.
Sure bullshit. And pretend like elitist. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Cool,
yeah,
man.
Dude, Wes, it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Yeah. Oh, thanks. And I'm going to record an intro and an outro to this too, so it's like, I'll be like, hey, this is Alex, you know, this is what he does.
Yeah, nice.
And shit. So if you want me to say anything about you.
Yeah, shout out the album.
Yeah.
Shout out the record.
Gales.
Say you're on it. Or yeah, wait.
Do you have a name for the album?
Yeah, I don't. And I actually don't know if I'm going to keep the Stranger's name. So let me get back to you later about that.
Oh, Strangers was after Gale. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, but I don't actually know if we should do that, because I forgot that Merle Haggard's band was called The Strangers.
Oh, fuck.
And I don't know. I mean that's bound to happen anyway.
Yeah. People will want to be listening to Merle Haggard, and they'll come across the album, and
yeah, that's true.
That's a whole market.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll promote it when it comes out, like in an intro or something. Just let me know.
Yeah, cool,
Cool, man. Well, you have a good rest of your day, and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Take care.
All right.
Stay safe.